Hello, hello, hello. How are you guys doing today? So I'm vlogging a little bit earlier and you guys are literally sitting right in the sunshine. So number one, the camera, oh my gosh, look how sunny it is. So the camera's gonna get really, really hot, number one. Number two, the lighting is not great out here. But I'm gonna sit outside anyway and vlog out here in the sunlight of the spirit today. It is so pretty in Indianapolis. It's hot though. I will say, you know, I was kind of sad about summer ending, but at the same time, I have to say I'm kind of past that now. I am ready for the cooler days. I am ready for the fallish weather. I just got back from my doctor's appointment and I was talking to the nurse and she was like, oh, our pool is still open. And I said, oh, like you like your pool at your house or whatever? She's like, no, like my apartment complex pool. She's like, it's still open and stuff like that. And I was like, that is so unfair. I said, they closed ours down literally. She goes, I've heard a lot of like condos and apartments are keeping the pool open, their pools open later this year in Indiana because it is like, it's so warm outside. And so I was telling her that like the HOA closes it down because we have to pay more money for the pool company to like, if they come out here at a later date, even though the water is still sitting in the pool company hasn't come out here and done anything. The only thing that changed is that the day after Labor Day, they put a chain around the fence so you can't get in there and they put all the furniture up. Nothing else has changed. And we had enough chemicals that they could have kept on putting chemicals in the pool for another 2 to 3 weeks. So the pool could have been open, but could have had a lot more pool days, but you know what? It is what it is, but I am a little bit ready for, I think it's because I'm reading that Pumpkin Spice Cafe book that I'm like so ready. And I'm like already looking at like what Halloween books I'm gonna read for October. I'm still in Sister Wife by Christine Brown Woolley. I'm almost done with Sister Wife. But then I'm on to the thrillers and the mysteries and stuff like that. So anyway, yeah, I'm just ready for fall. I like to like watch the scary shows at night, and I mean, what are we like? I think we're like a week away from September being over, right? What is today? Today is the 19th. My husband's texting me. Hold on a second. What did he say? He said, okay. So, I think we're like 10 days. We're 10 days away from September being over, and then it's October. Then it's spooky season. I feel like it's already kind of spooky season. So currently it is 2:28 p.m. Like I said, this is a really early vlog. If I sit back a little bit, I don't feel like I'm as much in the sunshine. You guys probably don't care, do you? And then the temperature right now, it's hot today. It is, it's 88 and sunny outside. And I don't think it's supposed to get any cooler in the next couple days. Tomorrow, 88. Oh, yeah, Sunday, 70. Oh, it is going to get quite a bit colder this week. You ask for, you ask for it and then you get it. See, you get for what you you get what you ask for. Is it the same? What's the same? Anyway, so tomorrow it's going to be 88. Then Sunday it's 78. Then Monday it is 72. And it looks like thunderstorms. Rain showers in the morning with thunderstorms develop in the afternoon. So it looks like Monday and Tuesday I'm getting my weather I wanted. Because Tuesday it's going to be 77, showers in the morning. Wednesday overcast, high near 75. Then Thursday 71, considerable cloudiness with occasional rain showers. 71, 75. It's going to be a good week to read books and watch spooky shows and all that kind of stuff. Speaking of that, my plan for today was that, so the dogs left very early this morning to go get their neuters today, which went fantastically. Alex was going to pick them up at 4 because he had an all-day conference meeting, but he got done a little bit early. That's why he was just texting me. Because he was like, can you check with the vet to see if I can come pick them up earlier? So he was going to pick them up at 4 because that's when they were going to like be done and ready. So he goes, can you check and see if they'll be done at 3? So I just called and she's like, yeah, we'll have them ready at 3. They'll be ready to go. I'll talk more about this later, but the neuters went fantastically. Both Otis and Walter are doing good. When I talked to the vet assistant on the phone, she was like, we've been taking pictures of them all day. They're so cute. They were like, had them separated, like, you know, in recovery or whatever. And she said they were like looking at each other crying. So she's like, we had to put them together. She was like, anyway, so I'll get to that in just a second. But my plan was, because I knew that Alex was going to get them at, you know, 4, and then, because he didn't think he would get done until later with his meeting. And so, and they said, the pickup, they should be picked up between 4 and 5. And so, I knew I would get back from my doctor's appointment between like 2:15 and 2:30. And so I was like, I'll film a review video, I'll do a drama video, I was gonna do a movie video, and then when they got home, I knew they'd be super tired, so I was like, I'll just vlog then. But then I woke up today and I didn't get a lot of sleep last night. I'm actually surprised that I am not more tired than I am. I'm tired, but I feel like a relaxed tired. Does that make sense? Like, I don't feel like, you know, like sometimes you're irritable tired? I don't feel irritable tired at all. I feel like a good, I don't know if that makes sense. I don't feel tired like, it's weird. Like if I went upstairs right now, I don't think that I could fall asleep. I just feel very relaxed. So my plan was to film a couple videos, and then when I got done with my doctor's appointment, I was like, I think I'm just gonna come home and like film my vlog before Alex picks up the dogs and comes home, and then this afternoon, this evening, I can just lay around with Alex and the dogs, and like watch movies or read books. I didn't read last night, so I listened to my audiobook, but I didn't read. So I really, really want to read, like throughout the early part of this evening. I want to sit out here while the dogs are napping and stuff. They said the dogs are like exhausted. They said, you know, because of anesthesia and stuff like that, they're going to be really tired all night tonight. And they have meds that they're going to be on. So anyway, so tonight is probably they're going to just be sleeping all night tonight. I just got some water. So it'll just be a nice, relaxing evening tonight. If they're super, super tired, and they're like asleep, then it depends on how cool it gets, to take a walk. It's really, like, I wouldn't want to take a walk right now. It's really, really hot to take a walk. But I would love to take a walk tonight. So hopefully it'll cool down a little bit. Maybe later I can take a walk, like at 9 o'clock. A couple people have asked about the bird feeder, so I wanted to say something about this. The dogs are like used to like being out in the yard now, and like the squirrels and the birds and stuff are out there. And I like put some like, you know, I put some of the corn down there for Steve the squirrel and stuff like that. And so I was ready to start putting some of, the reason why I took the bird feeders up at first and, you know, was going to put them out back was because, there were so many animals out there, and I, you know, didn't want like the bird seed all over the ground and stuff like that when I was like training Otis and Walter. And so I took them up at first, but by now they're used to it, and I do put some food on the ground and stuff like that, and the squirrels are coming back and whatever. And there's birds out there throughout the day that feed out there. I just don't have all the bird feeders in the tree. So my plan was to start putting some of the bird feeders back, and I also want to put up the, because I still haven't done this yet, the water bowls, the bird baths. I want to put those up as well. I mean, that has nothing to do with Walter and Otis. I've just been lazy and haven't put those up. So I want to put the bird baths up as well. In Margaret Wrinkle's book, she talks about how, like, bird feeders and bird baths and stuff like that, there's a lot going on in the street right now, and I cannot see it because something's going on in their driveway. There's like 4 people in their driveway, and they're doing something with their car. Then the gardener, when I got out of the Uber, she's cleaning her car. But then she was talking to somebody that was walking down that way. And none of it can I see right now. I can see in the window across the street. Oh, I think they have their grandkids, because it looks like he's lifting one of them up, the youngest one. Anyway, so my plan was that, like, after a month or so, you know, of them being here, when they were used to it and whatever, that I was going to put the bird feeders back up there. So that was my plan. Well, when I was looking up stuff about coyotes the other night, which, since that night, I have not seen any of the coyotes. Nobody in the neighborhood has seen any of the coyotes. So I don't know if they were just coming through or if they're around to stay. I have no idea. I'm very, very, very careful at night with the dogs. Like, we don't go very far in the yard. You know, I keep them very close on the leashes. Like, I always have, like, this flashlight with me. It's a lot to manage at night. But I have this flashlight that, like, clicks 3 times. It's like, the first one is on the end, and then the second one is, like, on the side. I actually got this flashlight. I think Melissa has the same flashlight because I got it for going to Fox Hollow Farms when we did the paranormal investigation. And so I put it on, like, the brightest thing when I'm out there in the yard with the dogs at night. But I haven't seen the coyotes or anything. But when I was reading about coyotes and, like, how to keep coyotes away, and if coyotes come around, like, what you should do. And if you guys don't know what I'm talking about, there was a night that I was taking the dogs out, and there was, like, 3 coyotes, and they're big coyotes, standing in Laura's driveway. So I was reading online about, like, what to do about the coyotes and blah, 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 and all this kind of stuff. And one of the things it said was, like, if you have, like, open trash, or like food remnants, like, I mean, I think that goes without saying. That's like with any animals, like raccoons, I guess coyotes, possums, all kinds of stuff. Our trash can we only put out 1 day a week, and it has like a closed plastic lid on it that like closes down and clamps. All of us have the same trash cans in the neighborhood. So we have the same trash cans and the same recycling bins. Like the company gives them to you. So anyway, so that's never been a problem. But then one of the things it said was that if you have bird feeders, that coyotes like go where there are places that there's a lot of bird feeders. And I was like, and I told Laura that because Laura has a bird feeder. She very rarely, I think this is Laura actually coming home right now. She very rarely ever has it filled back there, but she has one of those shepherd hooks. Is this her? Hey! She has one of those shepherd hooks hanging like to the side of her house with like this huge bird feeder on it. And I was like, I wonder if like, and then they have bird feeders in their backyard too. So I was like, I wonder if that's why the coyotes are back there. Maybe not. It might have nothing to do with it. But I thought, I think I'm going to wait a little bit longer. Like I'm going to wait until it gets a little bit colder. Whenever anybody has seen coyotes in this neighborhood, it's always when it's warmer weather, like in the wintertime. And I know that like coyotes, I know that I'm fully aware that coyotes come in the winter and in the summer. I'm just saying in our neighborhood, I don't know anybody that's seen the coyotes in the winter. So I'm waiting a little bit longer to put the bird feeders out. But I still have all the bird feed in the plastic box, and the bird feeders are like leaning up against it and stuff like that in the garage. And they're being well maintained. I am going to put the bird baths up though. I do want to do that. Because in the Margaret Wrinkle book, she says, this is what I was going to say, that it's really, really important to, like more so, did I already say this? In the fall and winter months, especially the winter months, to keep your bird baths filled and to put the bird feeders and stuff like that out there, because the animals don't have access to like unfrozen water because it goes underground, like freezes underground. I didn't even really think about this. You know, like if you look at people's yards, like I think in the spring and summer is when you see a lot of bird feeders and stuff like that. But she was saying that people take their bird feeders down in the fall and winter and they don't keep their bird baths filled and stuff like that. She actually has in the book, I think it was To Comfort a Crow, she talks about having heated bird baths. I might get one. That the squirrels and the birds and stuff. She has like a low one. My bird baths are kind of higher, but she has like a real low one. She talks about it in one of her stories. And that the squirrels come and drink out of it and stuff like that. And so, I didn't see anything about bird baths when I looked up coyotes. I guess I should probably look that up before I put all the bird baths out. I'll look that up too. So anyway, I'm sure somebody's already Googling it right now. You can let me know in the comment section below, the person that's Googling it. Peter, it says that you're not supposed to have bird baths for coyotes. Okay, well, I'll look into that and find out. But anyway, the other thing, and I'm really having a hard time with this year, do you remember a lot when I read The Comfort of Crows? What was it, like October or November that I read that book? Or was it December? I don't remember. But she talks about keeping a messy garden, okay? And that, like, I don't know, well, all of our hostas are, like, half dead and, like, sunburnt at this point. And so, like, in the fall, I always clean out all the leaves and everything like that. And Margaret Wrinkle talks about how important it is to keep a messy garden. Because in the winter and in the fall, it gives animals, like the little chipmunks and stuff like that, or birds or whatever, things to make nests with. It gives them things to, like, places to burrow, places to stay warm, places to hide food from predators and things like that. And so, I am so bad wanting to, like, clean this walkway. I know, like, I've never really wanted to clean this walkway that bad. But it doesn't look bad. I mean, you can see it. It doesn't look horrible yet. But I'm just like, these are dead. That's dead. Over there, it's got dead leaves around it. I'm not, like, wanting to get out there tomorrow with my gardening gloves and spend an hour. But, I mean, it's really, to be honest with you, there's like 3 big sticky weeds right here. But other than that, one over there, there's like 4 or 5 weeds in the whole thing. And then I gotta chop down the little things. But I keep on remembering that. And I'm like, okay, no, I gotta keep this, like, messy garden thing because... And there's not even that much of a mess, because now that we have the hostas. This hosta never really grew. I don't know what happened to that. I might have to split another hosta next spring. I might have to ask my neighbor, the gardener, Mrs., about splitting another hosta and putting it next to that, because that one never really grew. The other ones that we split did. But anyway, Margaret Wrinkle talks about the importance of... I want to read another Margaret Wrinkle book. I think I have 2 more of them in there. Or do I just have 1 more of hers? I love her essays. Her essays are so good. She writes in the New York Times, too. I don't know if you know that. I'll tell you, if you want... I am all about following, like, the peaceful Instagrams and stuff like that, you know, like, the illustrations of, like, animals living in them, whatever. I do follow Margaret Wrinkle. She's, like, one of the only, like, writer, celebrity people that I follow. I don't follow really that many. I can't think of anybody famous that I follow. I mean, a couple of years ago, well, anyway, let me just say this. But she posts, like, on her stories and stuff like that, she'll post just, like, a picture of a bird that she sees outside, or... like, she puts some of her writing on there as well. Like, when one of her posts goes up in the New York Times, she'll post something like that. Or maybe it's is it the New Yorker or the New York Times that she writes for? And it's a very peaceful Instagram. So, it was after the accident, and I was following, like, I think it was before, actually, that, with the influencers. Like, I was following every influencer I ever talked about on my drama channel, and even more so than that. I mean, it was, like, anybody that was, like, on YouTube, anybody, like, in the influencer space, I followed. And I also followed, like, all the housewives, a lot of, like, the RuPaul's Drag Race girls. I followed a lot of different celebrities. I followed, like, a ton of these guys that were, like, beards and great bodies and stuff like that. And almost to the point of where, like, you know, they would come up every day, these people, and I'd be like... I don't know these people, but I'm more concerned with what's going on in their life than I am in, like, the real world of it was like a distraction. And at first it was kind of like I slowly started unfollowing people. And then over time, I would get to something, and it was just the way that it made me feel. There was a lot of, like, there's a lot of these house things, too, that I would follow. Like, at first it was like I was following it for, like, inspiration of, like, these beautiful houses. And then what I realized was, whether it was... I read some article or something about these people that, like, there's the brother and sister that look like Boo and Tucker. The one dog's getting really, really big. Hey, how are you? Which one's the big one, the boy or the girl?
He's mine.
Okay, he's getting big.
He's getting some weight.
She's so cute. He's so cute. They both are.
Well, Debbie broke her leg.
I heard the coyotes.
So I got both of them again.
Is she doing okay?
Yeah, just hanging in there.
All right. Well, tell her I said hi.
4 weeks of not walking.
Oh, sweet. Tell her I said hi.
I will.
Okay, they're so sweet. Look at them.
Your puppies.
They're good. They got their neuters today.
Oh my goodness.
So they're coming home, yeah. So I know they're big boys now.
Awesome. Have a good day.
You too. It was good seeing you. Oh, they're so sweet. So that was her, the woman that saw the coyotes and then, like, fell and stuff like that. So her and her sister both got, so that was the dog. The boy dog is who? It looks like Boo Radley, but like a bigger Boo Radley. I'm kind of surprised. He's, like, doubled in size since the last time I saw him. And it was just like a month ago that I was walking down the street talking to her. Anyway, and then her sister got, so it was like an elderly person that, like, passed and then had these two puppies that were, like, I think they were like 6 months old. And so then they, so she and her sister each took one of them. So the brother and sister, they're like littermate, brother and sister. And then one got one and one got the other one. Well, her sister is the one, so she lives over there and her sister lives over there. Her sister was the one that was, like, in the woods when the coyotes came up. And then she, like, tried to protect her dog from it and stuff like that. And so she, like, ran over and, like, jumped on top. And then she, like, hurt her leg. Anyway, they're so sweet. Everybody in this neighborhood is so sweet. They all ask about, I mean, today when Mrs. was like, how'd the surgery go? I said, the surgery went great. I was real nervous about the surgery. But anyway, about the Instagram thing, there was somebody that it was like a couple that I followed. It was like a gay couple that I followed on Instagram. And I thought that their life always just looked so interesting, and I just, whatever. And it was like this article that I read, or maybe it was like some documentary or something I saw about, I don't remember how it was, but anyway, about how fake, like, a lot of these influencers are. Like, they don't really show you, like, it was, did you ever see that, like, people always taking pictures of themselves in private jets, PJs, as my husband refers to them. That's one of my husband's dream, is to be in a PJ. He wants to go, he's like, and he always asks me, like, anytime we fly somewhere, he's like, would you ever go in a PJ? He knows my answer, okay? I mean, I might, I don't know, I might, but I think about, like, I mean, I grew up with a lot of people, like, passing away in PJs, do you know what I mean? Like, I don't love the idea, like, you know, Patsy Cline. There's just been a lot of people that, like, their lives have ended in private jets. Like, I don't know, like, that maybe that's not a risk I need to take. Like, it kind of does scare me, honestly. But Alex's dream is like he wants a friend so bad that has a PJ. Like he's always like he's like if we had a friend that had PJ, you know, I'm like, do you know how much it costs to like gas up a PJ? Oh, he was talking about if we won the Powerball, he would buy a private jet, and I was like, what for? I said we could fly anywhere in the world. Like, do you know how much it costs to own these people like that Stephanie Shuma or whatever her name is on the Real Housewives of Miami? She's constantly talking about how expensive it is to have a plane. So anyway, her plane's nice. It's a really nice plane. Anyway. That's not really, like, ever been, like, a status thing to me. This is so weird. I was thinking about this when I was at the doctor's office today. That's never really been, like, a status thing to me that I've ever been... I mean, I'm sure it's nice to have a private jet, but you have to have, like, millions of dollars. Like, it costs so... It's so expensive to keep up, like, a private jet. But you know what's interesting today is, like... I was at the doctor's office, and this guy came in, and... he was kind of like, he was like a walk-in, and they were like, we're full today, we can't like get you in and stuff like that. And he was kind of rude to the woman that was working there, and he's kind of like one of those guys that comes up like, anyway, he's like, well, I'm gonna see if you can fit me in, and then I'm gonna go outside and make a phone call. And she was like, okay. She was like, and she looked at him and she goes, I can tell you we can't fit you in today. She's like, I can call one of the other offices. And he's like, I'm gonna go make a call and I'll check back in with you. So we went outside, and I was like looking at to see like, he was like what car he was walking to. I don't even know why, because he had like pulled in, there was like 2 cars right in front. It was so interesting to me because I thought about, like, I used to love to see, like, what kind of cars people drove, like, if that matched their personality, and, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know, I feel like back in the day I used to think that, like, cars said something about, like, you know, the person or whatever. Not necessarily, like, I've always liked, in all honesty, not that I don't like nice cars like Range Rover. To be honest with you, today I could care less what any kind of car somebody drives. It means absolutely nothing to me today. Since I don't drive anymore, I don't even look at things that way. Like I'll get in a car, like somebody picked me up in a Jeep Wrangler. It was like the first one that I'd ever been in, like a ride share. And I was like, this is the first, it was really a nice car. I mean, every once in a while, like getting into like an Uber or a Lyft, I'll be like, oh, this is nice. But like, as far as like, oh, like I would want to have that, I never think that way. Because I'm never going to drive again. So I never think like, oh, I would want that car or whatever. Do I think that there are nice cars like Range Rovers and Porsches and stuff like that? Bentleys, Rolls Royce? Sure, like I think those are nice cars. But I don't think of it the way that, I don't know, like if you don't drive, I'd be interested to know, like for whatever reason you don't drive, if you live in a city and you just don't have a car, or if you just don't drive for whatever reason. Like for me, not driving anymore, I don't look at cars the same way at all. Like I don't ever look at like when friends of mine will get new cars and they get real excited about it, I like try to get excited about it for them, but like I just don't have that feeling anymore. Like cars don't really mean anything for me. I think also because like my dream cars were always like, I can remember like when Jaclyn Hill got that, like she got that vintage Bronco and had it redone. I think she ended up getting rid of it, but I was like, that is a cool car. Like that to me is a cool idea of a cool car, like a vintage Bronco. Like I think that's cool, right? Like when I see like the wood paneled, like old school Land Rovers and stuff like that, those are the kind of cars that I like, right? Don't get me wrong, like I said, like a brand new Range Rover I'm sure is beautiful, and I've been inside of them, they're real nice and whatever, but like a car is a car, kind of, at the end of the day. I mean, it really, really is. I don't know, I'm just not that, like, cars don't mean anything to me anymore. It's so weird. Like, the brand of car, the style of car, none of it. I thought that something was going to move this way. It actually moved that way. Means absolutely nothing to me anymore. I don't know, but anyway. This guy drove this huge pickup truck. And he came in, and he was like... I'm always interested in guys that drive big pickup trucks. For you out there that watching it with your husbands or boyfriends, you might, and they drive a big pickup truck, you might want to shut this part off, okay? Because I don't want to offend anybody. But you know, there's a theory that guys, I'm not just talking about pickup truck, I'm talking about these big, huge pickup trucks like this guy drove, right? That guys that drive super huge pickup trucks are trying to compensate for something that they're lacking in. Have you ever heard that before? Okay. So anyway, he was so rude to this woman. And what was so funny was that they were all sitting there. They're so nice to me, like, every time I go in, you know, and so I went in and, like, they give you the pre-register thing, and so I was pre-register. Like, she asked him that, and she's like, well, did you, try to get an appointment online or whatever? He's like, I don't have time for that. He goes, I'm busy. And she goes, well, I'm sorry, like, he came back in and he started giving her a hard time. And he goes, well, you can tell Dr. So-and-so I don't know that I'm going to come back again. And she goes, okay, I'll pass on that message. And he, like, left. He was so rude. But then when he left, like, I can hear them talking, you know? Like, I'm the only one in the waiting area. I can hear them talking. And I was like, That's why you're not rude to people that work in customer service, okay? That's why you're not rude, because I got you figured out real quick. But anyway, about the Instagram thing, what I was going to say really quick was that there was this gay couple. I don't even remember who they were. And I didn't even really care, to be honest with you, that they were faking it. But it just, to me, was like, I had invested at that point, like, I can remember, like, their stuff would come up and I'd be like, oh yeah, what are they doing today? Or where are they traveling to? And it was this article about, oh, this is what I was talking about, PJs, private jets, about how, like, you'd see, like, pictures of, like, influencers on private jets, and then what you found out was that it was, like, these stage sets that you could go into. I've talked about this on here before. I was, like, blown away when I found out about this. I don't know why. I'm, like, kind of shocked about people's lengths to go fake stuff sometimes and lie. Like, it's so, like, surprising to me. Like, who are you doing it for? Like, that's what's always so interesting to me, right? Like, who are you doing that for? Like, when you need to fake stuff on that level, like, you're looking in the mirror at the end of the day knowing you didn't take a private jet. Like, you know what I mean? Like, have I ever told you guys the story about when we had the pods? I don't know if I've ever told you guys the story about we upgraded to first class. It was right after PP passed away. It was when we went to Mexico and we had the pods. Like, I am forever that person, right? That, like, I get so excited about everything. And so we'd upgraded to first class. I don't even remember how it all happened. We weren't even going to take that trip. And then Alex was like, I can't be here. I cannot be in this house where PP was. And so we were like, okay, let's go. So we ended up going to Mexico. It was like days after PP passed away. And so I don't remember where we flew through. I think it was through Charlotte. And I remember we got on the plane, and as we were walking on the plane, the woman said, your seats are to, like, she was like, your seats are to the, like, to the right. And we're like, what? What? There's a right and a left on the plane? We didn't understand, right? And so we got on, and then she was like, and I didn't realize until we got on the plane how big it was. And so she was like, she looked at Alex's ticket, and she was like, you're the first seat down there. And she was like, to me, she's like, you're the first seat on the other side. We were, like, separated. I was like, he was like A1, I was like F1 or something like that. And they were pods. Okay, I had wanted to fly in one of these pods. I know this guy that he and his boyfriend just went to Paris and they flew in the pods. I gotta ask him, like, how much it was and how they got that deal, because I want to fly on pods for the rest of my life, okay? If you've ever flown in one, trust me, it changes your experience of flying. Like, I told Alex, like, he wants to go to Thailand so bad. I'm like, I'm not going to Thailand unless you put me in a pod. Hawaii, I'm not doing it unless you put me in a pod. If I gotta be somewhere in a flight for 8 hours or more, you better put my ass in a pod, okay? And I don't care how snotty that sounds. Listen, I will save my money until I can be in a pod, because that is a different experience. I already don't like to fly, okay? So we get in these pods, and there's like, and I like look over at Alex. So the way that it was set up was like, I'm in a pod next to the window. Then there's like 2 pods like in the middle, okay? The pods were probably like, I don't know, you could stretch out, like they were like recliner seats, and you had like a TV screen in front of you, and you had all this little stuff behind you in little areas, and the seat went way back and stuff like that. And it was kind of secluded, but not really. So anyway, and then there was like 2 pods in the middle that like with this like, you know, kind of window thing up that separated them. And then on the other side, there was like another window, like pod like mine. And I remember when we sat down, Alex and I looked at each other like, oh, we're in pods! And I'm like looking at everybody else that's like already, because we were like one of the last people to get on the plane, that's already like sitting like in the first class pods, and they're like drinking their like, you know, coffee and stuff. Like they do this all the time, like they take the pods all the time. And Alex and I were like, we're in pods! So, have I told this story before? Okay. So, the flight attendants, I think, very quickly figure out that, like, I am, like, enchanted with this, okay? And I am so excited that I got to be in a pod. And so I'm, like, putting all my stuff out, you know, trying to act fancy pants, like, I just do this all the time kind of thing, but it's not happening. And we are both so worn out. Like, I feel like we cried 3 days straight, like, after PP passed away. I just was out of my mind. I can remember having to, like, go buy some stuff, because I had no clothes for this trip. And I can remember, like, having to go buy some stuff at Macy's and just, like, walking around just, like, picking up stuff. And, like, I remember when I got on that trip and, like, I had 2 pairs of pants that had, like, the tags on them that, like, to set them off. And I, like, went down the concierge and was like, I don't know what to do. Like, I brought 2 pairs of pants and they didn't take, like, you know, the sensors. They didn't take the sensors off when I bought them. And so he was like, I don't know. And I remember when I took them back to Macy's, because I flew them all the way back and brought them back to Macy's, because because I was afraid, because you hear about like the blue ink and all this kind of stuff. And I said, yeah, I took these pants have been all the way to Mexico and back, but I just need the sensors off and whatever. And they're like, you could have just taken the sensors off with, I shouldn't probably say this online, but anyway, they're like, you could have just taken the sensors. The camera stopped. I shouldn't say this online to give people ideas, but anyway, she's like, you could have just taken like a heavy pair of scissors or something like, and taken it off. And I go, but isn't there like ink inside? And she goes, no. She goes, on some stuff, like real expensive stuff. She goes, but like basically like my pants were shitty, but like, no, not this $30 pair of shitty khakis. No, we don't put ink sensors in this. So anyway, I'm like so out of it. And, so like Alex is like, I look over, like the flight like takes off, right? And like I look over and Alex is like all stretched out in his pod. He's got his eye patch on. He's like falling asleep and stuff like that. And my recliner won't work. And I'm so over it. And like, have you ever been to that point of like grief and sadness and frustration that you just start crying, like hysterically crying, like for no reason? And I start like losing it, okay? And like my seat gets stuck, like in a weird kind of position, and my legs are like up, and it's like I'm like this, right? And so the woman comes over, the flight attendant. She was so nice. She comes over to me and she was like, sir, are you okay? And I like said, my seat won't work and I don't know what's going on with it. And so she's like, can you get up for a second? And I was like, yeah. And she's like, is this just about the seat? And I go, I've never flown in a pod before. And I don't remember exactly what I said, but I was like, Alex is like, he like takes his, later he told me, he's like, that was ridiculous. I was like, I've never flown in a pod before. So anyway, I've lost it at this point, right? Like, I am so emotional. You want to talk about emotional roller coaster. I am so emotionally exhausted, you know, from like losing PP and PP being sick and the holidays. And then, are we going to go? Are we not going to go? Are we going to cancel this trip? Are we going to go? I mean, it was like a lot. And so she's like, well, what's going on? And I was like, our dog just passed away, and he was my best friend. He was like my soulmate, and we didn't even think we were gonna come on this trip. And then we get a pod, and I've always wanted to fly on a pod, and then the pod breaks, and I can't even. She's like, honey, we're gonna get this fixed for you. It's gonna be okay. She was so sweet, and she like fixed it like real quick. She got like a screwdriver and fixed it. It was completely fine. I like laid down, and she's like, can I get you anything? I was like, I have a Diet Dr. Pepper. She brought me a Diet Dr. Pepper because we were on American Airlines, and I know that they have Diet Dr. Pepper American Airlines. So I was so excited about it. And so then she and I started talking. We became best friends. So I was like, I've never been on a pod, even when we upgrade, like, to Mexico. And she's like, well, they don't usually use these planes for Mexico, but because the flights to Europe don't go, like, as regularly in the wintertime. This was New Year's that we were going. And so she was like, they use these planes to fly to the Caribbean and Mexico. And I was like, oh, lucky for us. We were only on the pod for, like, 2.5, 3 hours. But anyway, I remember I put this movie on. I ended up watching it later. I only watched like 20 minutes of it. I actually watched it recently because I thought I had watched it. It's a zombie movie with Bill Murray. I remember I put that movie on. Hold on, who texted me? Oh, Mel's texting me. She's texting me something she's going to make. Oh, it's called The Founder from Swig. She's all... I got to text her and tell her this is somebody... Because somebody told me that... Somebody told me on my video... That's the most famous one. It's called The Founder from Swig. But anyway, so she and I became like really good friends. She, not good, like for the flight. We became good friends, you know what I mean? It's not like we kept in touch or anything like that. But she was so sweet to me. And I remember like I put this movie on. There's like, I was like looking through all the movies. I wanted that experience to be like 3 hours of bliss. I mean, I knew it was never going to happen again. I mean, we came back and I thought we were going to have pods on the way back. There was no pods on the way back. But anyway, so I remember like she brought me my Diet Dr. Pepper and like the lights lowered and whatever. And I like had my seat back in the recliner and I watched like the first 5 minutes of that movie and I was out. I was out. So anyway, oh, but about PJs and stuff like that. No, I've never been in a PJ. My husband's never been in a PJ. I don't even know that I want to go in a PJ, but she can put me in those pods, okay? Listen, you can put me in those pods. I want to be kind of like that TikTok guy that those women were sending him hundreds of thousands of dollars. I'm like, y'all can just start sending me money to fly around the world in pods. His attitude about it, I was kind of surprised too when they asked him about it. They were like, do you feel bad about it? He's like, no, this is my job. I'm a TikTok influencer. I'm like, oh, okay. There's a lot of TikTok influencers that people aren't sending hundreds of thousands of dollars. I don't think anybody sent me $100,000 or put $60,000 in my PayPal. But anyway, but that's probably because I don't like the word influencer. But okay, so there was this gay couple that I like followed on Instagram, and I can remember like getting up and being like, I'd see their stuff come up and I'd be like, I think it's all just a distraction, you know? And I'd be like, it's all fake. And I'd be like, oh, where did they go today? What house did they buy? Oh, they went to this dinner place for a restaurant. It was always like, well, I read this article or saw this documentary. It was like I feel like it was like a show I watched. It was like an hour. It was like one episode of a 3-part. Does anybody know which one I'm talking about? It was about the fake life of influencers was something I watched. Somebody told me to watch it. And so part of it was talking about, it showed these sets that these influencers go into. You can pay like $100 and like they'll have this room, and in the set, it's like you pay to go to these sets, okay? They're for influencers. And like they'll have an area that's like literally like 20 by 20, and it literally is just like, it looks like the inside of a private jet. And then they'll take pictures like toasting champagne, but they're not really in a private jet, you know? And they have green screens there. I'm like, who is going to these lengths to fake it like you have so much money and such an extravagant lifestyle? For who are you doing this for? So anyway, but in that, it showed them, and I was like, this couple that I have been so invested in for so long, and I was like, what? Then this one guy that I followed that like had this great body and was really good looking and all this kind of stuff, he did some like honesty like reel or something talking about like filtering his pictures, and he showed like what his pictures look like without filters, and that he talked about, and listen, filter your pictures all you want. I've always said that, you know, baby, if you want to filter yourself into a cartoon, have at it, okay? Every one of I might use like Vivid Cool or something, you know, I don't even know how to do, if anybody ever wants to accuse me of photoshopping pictures, I don't even know how to do it. I have no clue how to Photoshop my chin out or my, you know, I don't know how to do none of that. I don't. So what you see is what you get on that Instagram, okay? And I kind of take a little pride in that, because I think it's owning who you are. Like, you know, it is what it is. I got friends of mine, everybody that I know edit some pictures. Do it. Like I said, edit yourself right into a cartoon if that's what makes you happy. Do it because it makes you happy. But at some point, I think, like, it's like buying subscribers on YouTube or TikTok or whatever, or buying views or on Instagram or anywhere. Like, who are you doing that for? Like, if you say to me, you're doing it because you're building a career, or like, if you have more followers, you're going to get more. Like, I remember my friend Brittany that we saw. So Brittany she was Miss Indiana USA, and then she became a model. She worked for Wilhelmina and blah. She did major campaigns. She did like Virgin Airlines campaigns. She did huge campaigns. And I remember she talked to me a couple years ago about, she was in Miami. She used to do Miami Swim Week every year. I think she did it this year, actually. And so she went to Miami Swim Week, and she called me, and she said, it was like when Instagram was getting big. And she said, I don't know what to do. And I said, what do you mean? She goes, well, I have my portfolio. My portfolio like holds its own. She goes, but none of these girls have portfolios. And I go, well, how are they doing casting calls? And she goes, with their Instagram. And she goes, but they're all, like, they told me they all bought their following on Instagram. Like, they all have like 100,000 followers, but like 90% of them are bought on Instagram. And she goes, but to the designer, it looks real, and they think this is going to go out to an audience of 100,000 people, so they're going to book them. And she goes, what do you think I should do? Should I buy followers? I said, no, absolutely not. We had this whole conversation about it, and I told her, like, my dad had told me years ago, once you give your integrity away, you can never get it. And she really struggled with that. And she's like, I'm not buying any followers. And she later told me, she's like, you know, a lot of those, like, modeling is done differently today. I think there's still some of that out there, but she told me years later, she's like, some of those girls were like, them buying followers ended up biting them in the ass. I've never really understood that. Like, if you're buying followers because, like, this is one thing that does surprise me, is like, when I look at YouTubers, and like, let's say they have like 5 million subscribers, but they're getting like 1,200 views on a video, and they're still getting major sponsorships. I'm like, how? Like, are people not looking at their analytics? Like, they have 5 million subscribers and they're getting like 1,000 views a video. Like, that doesn't even make sense. Like, how much of that is bought? Like, why are you, like, if you're going to do a sponsorship, do it with somebody that's, like, you know, getting some views. I mean, it's no surprise to me that I don't get offered a lot of sponsorships. It's not like my videos are getting tons of views, you know what I mean? But anyway, I've never understood the lengths to go to like, fake something. Like, who are you doing it for at the end of the day? Like, I don't agree with it, but I understand it from a business point. Like, I do. Like, if you're gonna, like, buy views on a video because that sponsor asked, or a post, you know, likes on a post because that sponsor said, I think it's gonna bite you in the ass eventually, because people are gonna be like, because this is the thing. When you do a sponsorship, like, if you have a code to a sponsorship, that code is like a specific code. So then it will show you, like, on the company's end, like, every company I've ever worked with will say you sold so many units. Like, they can tell you how many people used your code. So if you have, let's say, you post a picture on Instagram of a coffee cup, and they said they wanted 50,000 likes on, I mean, you can't even determine that stuff, you know? I mean, I've had companies that will say to me, well, we need to get 50,000 views in this video. And I'm like, well, what happens if I don't? And they're like, well, would you be willing to do a second or third video? And I'm like, yeah, absolutely. You know, just, but that for the same price. I'm like, yeah, sure. But, like, let's just say, like, if you have to get, like, 20,000 likes or something on an Instagram post, okay? And you know you're probably not going to get that. So you end up buying the likes. I've known, like, I have probably, since I've been on YouTube, I have probably heard people do this. I mean, probably 50 or 60 people, honestly, that have done this. There's very few people that will not, like, fake it. For me, it was never about that. I don't think it's that I have so much more integrity than somebody else. I just think that a lot of people, especially people that are younger, very much went into it seeing it as a business. Yes, it is my job today, but I never went into it seeing it as my business. So I think that, like, my intention is different. I think that if I was younger and I thought, like, not that I don't think of where am I going to be in 10 years as far as YouTube and stuff, but, like, if I thought, like, what opportunities, I've never thought that way. I mean, I had a lot of opportunities open to me, but I've never thought, like, I'm going to do this so that I can have this opportunity and this opportunity to take me there. Like, I never got, I mean, it was such a fluke that I even got any kind of following at all, even just a little bit on YouTube. It was, I never expected it, but I never went into it with any plan. But I think a lot of younger people do. And so, like, the thing is, like, let's say if you buy 20,000 likes on a picture, but the picture really only got, let's say, 100 or 500 likes, right? And out of that, let's say 100. And out of that 100 likes, let's say only 10 people bought from your link that you have, okay? Now it looks like you are an influencer that has, let's say, 200,000, 300,000 followers on Instagram. You have a picture that has 20,000 likes on it, but you only have the ability to sell 10 units. You're not going to get a lot of sponsorships. People are going to stop booking with you, is what's going to happen. And you kind of figure it out later. So I don't even think it works from that point of view. I have known people that I think have built it up to a point where the fake ended up becoming real. I've known a couple people that that's happened to, where, like, they did it at the beginning, or they did it on a specific video, and then the next video took off, and then it kind of, like, evened out or whatever. And I don't know how it works on TikTok. I've heard a lot of people fake it on TikTok, but I don't really know how you would do that. And I think that a lot of people that, like, go live, wouldn't you know? Like, if you had, like, 10 million followers on TikTok, but only, like, 200 people are coming into your... Wouldn't that kind of make... You'd be like, you got 10 million followers, but only 200 people are coming into a live stream? I don't know how many is a lot. I never get on TikTok. But I've never understood the whole idea of, like, who are you faking it for? Why are you paying $100 to go to a set and act like you're sitting in a PJ? Like, for me... Like, okay, you know, my husband and I are blessed to be able to travel a lot. But the behind the scenes is the conversations where, like, we're not going to do this, or we're not going to do that, or we're going to wait on this so that we can take this trip. And we're going to save this money. And instead of buying each other, like, big Christmas presents, we're going to put this money towards this trip, or towards doing something towards the house. I mean, we have been putting money into a fund to redo the house for the last 5 years. And to be honest with you, when the trip comes, part of the excitement about the trip is like, oh my God, we were able to save money that we could upgrade. And we got pods, and isn't that cool, blah, 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 right? But when you're faking it, and you're like, it looks like you're on a PJ when you're not, like, where's it, like, you're missing out on what life is about at that point. Life has become about your need to constantly fake it. And I don't know who that's for. I don't know if that's for you because you're so insecure, or if it's about, and I'm talking about, like, I mean, I think thousands of people do this out there, if not hundreds of thousands of people do it online. I don't know who that's for, you know? I don't get it. I really don't understand it. Like I said, I mean, do it if it makes you happy. You know, like, I think I used to feel a little bit stronger about it, in all honesty. I think I don't know. I think I felt a little bit differently about it before. In all honesty, maybe a little bit of jealousy. I think it was kind of like the person that comes into class and cheats on a test. It's kind of like, well, everybody thinks that you have 10 million subscribers, but we all know, you know. Drama channels know that shit. They know, like, the influencers that have faked it and stuff. We know that. We've been clocking it for years. And it's like, okay, so everybody out there, you're getting all these brand sponsorships and whatever. I mean, we started clocking that stuff like year one with the people that we would talk about, you know. And it's like, I don't even know if maybe jealousy is a good word. I wasn't willing to do that, I think. Like, for me, I was like, I'm not willing to do that. And all the people that I knew, like all the drama channels and stuff back in the day that when we were friends, like, none of us was willing to do that. And so I was like, I'm not willing to do that. Like, but then there's this person out there, and it's so funny because a lot of them, like, I don't know, like, but they were getting a lot of opportunities. And we weren't. And I think we were kind of like, well, why aren't we getting those opportunities? You know what I mean? But like, but we all of us together collectively weren't willing to fake it like that either. You know what I mean? I don't know. Anyway, I saw this couple and I just was like, I think you guys are nice guys, but why am I so invested in a life that's not real? Do you know what I mean? Like, I read enough books and watch enough movies and TV shows. I don't need to be invested in fake people. Like, I'm not just talking about saying somebody's fake. I'm talking about, like, your entire entity is fake. Like, there's nothing real about it. So I don't even know who you are. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you living in an apartment in Oklahoma City. I always use Oklahoma City. In Oklahoma City and struggling to pay the bills and arguing with your partner about what you're going to eat for dinner tonight, about while you're paying off your debt, that is more interesting to me than you toasting each other in a fake jet, a PJ. Like, that's not interesting to me. Real life is interesting to me. So then I just started unfollowing a lot of those people. What I realized in that moment was, why do I care about these people? So then I just started unfollowing a lot of influencers. I started following a lot of these Instagram models that, you know, looked like what I wished I did. And I thought, I'm never going to look like that anyway. So what's the point? You're just making me feel worse about myself. The house things where people have these gorgeous houses. I was like, done following you people. You people make me feel bad about myself. I don't need to follow shit that makes me feel bad about myself. And slowly I started following, like, you know, like the illustrators that put the little, like, knot holes in the trees where the animals lived. Like, that made me happy, you know, and stuff like that. I follow people that make me happy today. People that I'm friends with and know, or people that make me happy. Like, that's what I follow today. The rest of it, I don't mess with it. I don't mess with it. Do what you know, like, my husband follows a lot of them people. Makes him happy. He enjoys watching it. I'm like, how do you don't even know them people. I don't know those people. You know what I mean? And half of them don't ever, like, I don't know, like, when they do share stuff about their life, I'm like, why should I care? And are you being honest? Because if you're being honest, then I do care, you know? But I also think, like, I'm kind of real attracted, not just romantically, but I'm real attracted to people in general that share, like, real, you know? That share, like, the real, like, real knows real. That shares, like, the real parts of themselves. Like, the good, the bad, the ugly. Like, we're all, like, a mess some of the time. And we're all at the top of our game some of the time. Not a lot of the time, but some of the time. And none of us roll out of bed looking our best. None of us. I don't care who you are. And we have days that we feel good about ourselves. We have days that to me, like, I want to hear that. Like, that's relatable to me. Like, I remember, like, when I first started watching YouTube back in the day, this is one of the reasons I talk about marriage counseling and stuff. When I started watching YouTube back in the day, like, is this Alex? He would have texted me and said, did he text me and I missed it? I was watching a lot of these gay couples. Sadly, the male guy's here. Mel texted me. There were a lot of gay couples that I watched. One of them, Will and RJ, Shep689, is one of the reasons why I vlog today. My vlogs don't look anything like their vlogs. They took the camera out with them throughout the day, went to Chipotle at night. But they vlog every single day, and I really liked them, and they ended up rescuing this dog and all this kind of stuff. They ended up getting married, and then, like, it just, disaster happened. And I don't even really know what happened to this day, because they ended up hating each other, and I don't even think the channel's up anymore. I don't know, but they're both with other people or something. I don't follow either one of them anymore. But anyway, But there were a lot, they were like one of the longest couples that stayed together. I think they vlogged every day for like 7 years. And they moved from Florida to LA and all that kind of stuff. But anyway, I remember like watching like all these gay couples, and they would like get in a video and they'd be like, hi, I'm John, and I'm John too. We're John squared. We're so happy. We love each other so much. And it was like every video. And I remember I would say to Alex, like, they love each other so much. And he's like, it's fake. And I'm like, what do you mean it's fake? He's like, nobody is that happy and that in love all the time. And I'm like, no, but they really, for real, they are. And he's like, no, nobody is. I'm like, if we were really in that much love, and I was like comparing our relationship onto something that was completely fake. And sadly, I would say, I don't think there's one of those couples, I'm trying to think. Like, I don't wish this on anybody, but I don't think there's one of those couples that's still together anymore. And I do think it's difficult to be a couple and be online. Like, the couples that are online together and, like, as couples online, like, my husband, I don't consider us being one of those because he's very rarely in videos with me and stuff like that. But couples that do a lot together online, like, I give it to them. I mean, you're working together, you're online, your relationship's online, it's a lot, you know? I think that does factor into that. But I don't know, like, I remember, like, then when I decided that I was going to start sharing our relationship online, I was like, I'm sharing it. Like, I'm talking about marriage counseling. I'm going to talk about the normalcy, because I was looking for the normal, and what I was finding was these couples that were so over the top in love that they never argued, and then if we would argue, I'd be like, well, they don't argue. And he'd be like, well, that's not real. And I'd be like, well, it's real for them. No, that's a video. And I'd be like, well, what's the difference? I think it's sometimes why people cannot just fathom at all that what I share on video is who I am and this is my life, because there's so many fake people out there that they're like, how is he, like, this has got to be a lie, it's got to be fake, it's got to be, you know, whatever. I don't know. But anyway, then I started unfollowing a lot of those people, not because I didn't like them or I hold it against. I hope they're having their best life today. I hope they are still to this day sitting on that set, toasting each other champagne in their fake PJ. I hope today, actually, you know what I hope for them? I hope they own a PJ, or at least they get to travel in a PJ on a regular basis, because that's obviously something that would make them very happy, and I want people to be happy in this life. So I hope that they are living their best life. I really do. I want that for people, you know? I think a little catty side remark would be to say in the set. But no, like, if that's what would make them happy, is to be in a PJ for the rest of their life, be in a PJ, you know? But following that was not making me happy. And it really had nothing to do about the fakeness of it. It really had everything to do with, I was comparing my life to other people, and I didn't know if it was real or if it was fake. And I was like, I'm not doing this anymore. So then I started just following accounts that made me happy. That was really where I started following a lot of the rescue dogs and the rescue animals and Thumbelina the squirrel and all this kind of stuff. And it just completely changed my mentality. The way that that was also around the same time that I just was like, I'm not effing with Twitter or X, whatever, it was Twitter back then, anymore. And I really, at that time I was just posting like the Christmas countdown, the Halloween countdown, then I stopped doing that. And I just was like, I'm not messing with Twitter anymore. And Facebook, I go to every once in a while, but like Instagram's really the only place, and Goodreads. I was like, I don't have a lot of control over a lot of stuff, you know, in the world, but I do have control over what I choose to see on social media. And if I don't want to see it, or if I feel like it's going to, and I'm not talking about educating myself on news events and what's going on in the world. I'm not talking about that. That's something completely different. I'm talking about if something that I am choosing to follow and see on social media is bringing down my mental health, then maybe I need to question that choice. Like, why am I doing that, if that makes sense? So I just stopped doing it. And it's changed. Oh my God. These, like, I was looking at Cora Rose. She's the one that has no front arms, that dog. And she's got, like, you know, she's a poodle and she's got, like, pink hair and stuff like that. Well, she met another dog that has no arms. And it was like they met for the first time. And I was like, I love this. That Gentle Barn or whatever that rescues, like, cows and pigs and horses, like farm animals. And they all and they just live out there. They just, like, there's this one video they have. It's like, you've probably seen it. They post it on other places. But it's like this cow galloping through a field for the very first time to go see this other cow. It's like, oh my God. Like, that stuff just, it changes me entirely, you know? And so I do have a choice of, like, what I take in and whatever. And for a long time, I took in a lot of stuff that made me feel worse about myself, you know, or gave me a really negative attitude, and I'm like, I don't do that anymore. You know, I just don't. Anyway, where am I at on time? I'm like almost at an hour already. And Alex, it's 20 after 3, so. Did he text me? No, Mel texted me again. She doesn't know I'm vlogging. I forgot. Nikki texted me and asked me what I was doing. I said I'm getting ready to vlog, but I didn't text Mel, so she doesn't know. That's why she keeps on texting me. She's off today. Alex will text me when he leaves the vet. I already went over everything with what's her face. Maybe he won't text me when he leaves. I don't know. I'm kind of surprised he's not there already. I went over everything with the vet tech today. So I went over all the discharge paperwork and stuff. He just has to go inside and pick them up and pay for it and stuff like that. I gave him the credit card this morning, so he's going to pay for it. But they are doing good. So last night, fed them, they vlogged, stuff like that. And then, what was last night? Thursday night. Alex came home. He had his thing. He didn't get home till like 9:30. I was watching The Valley. So last night I had to give them 2 of their medications. I can't remember what the one medication was. It was supposed to be for like nausea. And then they just gave us one of those. And then they each had to have a trazodone. And then this morning they had to have another trazodone, which is like help you sleep, you know. And then it's called like the pre-operative meds or whatever. And then a carprofen, which Burali was on the trazodone at the end, but he was on carprofen for a long time for like pain. So it was supposed to like anti-anxiety pain medication or whatever. And so we were supposed to give them each a half of that this morning. So last night I gave it to them. She told me to give it to them between like 9 and 10. So I gave it to them at like 9:15 and took them outside and whatever, and they were real wound up. And then Alex came home and we were upstairs in bed, and it was like, he's like, I can tell, because I call it their funny medicine. That's why I called it with Boo. And he's like, Otis, it's affecting right away. And so like literally, I mean like in 15, 20 minutes, they were out. I mean, they were out and they slept all through the night, like straight through the night. They were those little guys. They were also like ran most of the day yesterday. So I was like, okay, well I can read and I can watch movies and all this kind of stuff. Well, I fell asleep last night with them. I was so comfortable. And so I fell asleep with them, and then I ended up like getting up, and it was kind of late, and I had to watch Big Brother, and I was like, okay, and they were still asleep. So I was like, I'm just gonna let them sleep. And then, cause you know, usually like when I'm downstairs, I'm watching my TV shows and whatever, they're running around, I take them out. Well, they were asleep all night long. So I kind of had a little dad's reprieve last night. So I just sat downstairs and, you know, lit a few candles, made some coffee, and so I watched Big Brother last night, the eviction. And no, actually, I started watching, well, earlier in the evening I was watching The Valley. So, I think it's Christy that keeps on asking me about The Valley. I don't know who keeps on asking me about The Valley. I'm halfway through. I'm on episode 8 right now. I think there's 15 episodes in the reunion. Or 15 episodes with the reunion. I don't know. It's okay. It's just messy. The Valley's messy. Jax Taylor's such an ass. He is such an ass what he did to Brittany this whole season. So anyway, I'm on the episode where Tom Schwartz just previously, in the previous episode, made a cameo appearance. Because Jax is moving in next to Tom Schwartz. Because that's a good idea. So anyway, although I've kind of always liked Tom Schwartz. Not Tom Sandoval. Tom Schwartz. But anyway, so I woke up and it was late. So then I looked. At that point, it was like when I came downstairs, I got settled and everything like that. I talked to somebody on the phone. I talked to Nikki on the phone for a while last night. Talked to Tanya and I talked to Nikki. Talked to Tanya first and Nikki. Then I did my prayers and meditations. At that point, it was like 1:15. And I went inside and Big Brother still wasn't up on the channel yet. And so I was like, okay, well, I'm going to watch. I'm trying to get through War of the Worlds. I'm on season 3. I think I'm on episode 4 of season 3. It's good. To be honest with you, I don't understand half of what is going on in the show. But I do understand that I love the show. Mel said, hi, vlog. So, let me text her back. I'll tell her y'all said hi. She'll think that's funny. They said, hey, bitch. From 1,000 Pound Sisters. They said, hey, bitch. She'll say, you effing bitch. Watch, that's what she'll say back. I said, they said, hey, bitch. Okay, so I was so tired last night. I was like, the one night they're not running around and doing laps and then went to sleep next to me and all this kind of stuff. And I can just do whatever I want to do, you know, talk on the phone, stay up, read as much as I want. I'm tired early, okay? But I'm like, no, you're staying up. So finally, Big Brother came on. I watched Big Brother. It was a double eviction last night. So I watched a double eviction. It was okay. I'm ready for the show to be over. It ends a week from Sunday. The finale of Big Brother is on the same night as Sister Wives. What is one to do? I'll probably watch the live finale, and then I'll watch Sister Wives later. I'm kind of surprised Mel didn't text me right back. She's like on it with the text. So anyway, or did she? I don't know why her texts are not coming up on my phone. Like when I have it closed off. No, she didn't text me back. So anyway, so I had to get up. So Alex was leaving here. The dogs had to be at the vet at 7:10. So he was leaving here at like 6:45. So I was like, I'm going to get up at 6. I'm going to take them out. And they couldn't have any food or water or anything like that. But they had to have medicine this morning as well. They had to have another trazodone, and the camera stopped. This morning was when they had to have the trazodone. They had it last night too. And then half the carprofen. They didn't have the carprofen last night. So anyway, I got up, took them outside. They were still like tired and groggy. They didn't like really understand. Like they didn't fight me on the leashes or anything like that. But they didn't really understand like, what are we doing out here, Dad? So I took them inside. I bought these pill pockets, and it's like, they're so little that I had to, anyway. So they both took their meds, and then they were ready to go. And I put a towel down and a blanket in Alex's backseat of his car and stuff like that. So then he took them. And then I was like, I stayed up in case I had any questions. And so when he got there, he took little pictures of them when they were waiting. Hold on a second. He texted me and he was like, he didn't think that Otis liked the medication. He's like, no, he wants to walk, but he can't really walk. And so he sent me this little picture of Otis. But anyway, and then they called, even though the other day I went over the nurse, well, there's like 3 vet assistants. One of them called me the other day to go over like the plan. So we went over the plan again today. And then she's like, okay, everything's great. And then like she arranged a pickup time between 4 and 5 with Alex. So anyway, then they called about, well, they texted at, here I can look and tell you. Okay. They texted and said at 11:45, Otis is out of the neuter procedure and is currently doing well in recovery. And then they said Walter is going into surgery now. And then Walter is out of his neuter procedure as well. Both boys are doing well in recovery, getting spoiled by all of our technical staff. We will continue to monitor them until their discharge appointments this afternoon. I will call you at noon to discuss at-home instructions. So she called at noon, and I talked to her at noon. She was super, super nice. We went over everything. Yeah, and so that was that. And she was like, oh my God, we're all taking pictures of them. They're so cute. And so she was like, now where did you get it? I was telling her this story, because I didn't know this woman. So I was telling her the story, and I was telling her about her doctor. So there's really, like, I've been talking to my friend that has their sister, and she's like, I'm starting to think that, like, we don't know really what the age is. I said, no, we don't know either, because when I called, so on Wednesday when we did the appointment, or when I had the appointment on Wednesday for like the pre-surgery, she said something about that the vet had put down that the ages were between 15 and 17 weeks now. I said now or when we saw her? And she goes, no, this would be now. And I go, 15, so we're talking they're 4 months now. And she goes, yeah, now. And I said, are you sure about that? I said, because that's just like from the time and whatever. So in between then and then talking to my friend, she's found out that there were more like 15 dogs in the house. And some of them were kept inside, and some of them were kept in crates outside. And that's really all that's known about. We really know nothing about this dog and these dogs. And that, I mean, it was definitely more of a surrender rescue situation than I ever had any idea. I mean, I have no records on these dogs, whatever. I do have a picture of what is supposedly their mom and dad. I do have that she got from this woman. At some point, I'll share the whole story of what my friend has told me, but I don't really want to get into it today. Anyway, all I'll say is I'm just really happy that they're with us and that their sister is with my friend. So anyway, it wasn't anything like horrible abusive or anything like that. It was just, I don't know, it was a lot. And so anyway, so we have no clue on like, you know, whatever. And so we were talking about it the other day as far as like shots and keeping up with that, because if they're younger, then would you have to do boosters and stuff like that. So today when she was doing the discharge stuff, I said, where did the doctor, like, you know, she's like, everything went well, we were talking about all that kind of stuff. I said, finally I was asking about the age. I said, no, it's like really funny, like a lot of people don't know the names of their dogs, or the ages of their dogs that they rescue and whatever, but I kind of like really want to know. And I said, when I talked to the other assistant, she said between 15 and 17 weeks. And she said, no, I think about 17 weeks is probably right. I said, today? And she goes, yeah, they're probably about 17 weeks right now. So that would put us at September to August, August to July, July to June, June to May. When I talked to the woman on Wednesday, she said, I'm putting May 28th down as their birthday. But Alex and I were both like, my friend, she was like, originally, she said she thought she got contacted at the beginning of April. Now it's looking like it was the middle of May. So she thinks that she contacted her like as soon as they were born. So I'm thinking I'm going to use my mom passed away on May 14th. I'm thinking I'm going to use my mom's day of her passing as her birthday is what I think I'm going to do. Because we're not going to know their birthday. I was talking to my friend. I was like, what do you think? She was like, I don't know. Sometime in May. She's like, we know that they're roughly that age. So they're like right at 4 months right now. So anyway, their vet appointments went fantastic. So I'm excited to see them. She said they were super, super tired. When they were there, did I tell you the part where they were like facing each other and they were like crying? So they had to like put them next to each other, and then like Walter like laid his head over. Anyway, she said they were so cute. We've been taking pictures of them all day long. So anyway, then I went to my doctor's appointment today. It was just, it wasn't my annual. I had my annual, I think in March or April. So this was just my 6-month checkup. So we just went over some stuff. So I had blood work previously taken. My blood work looked good. And then he said there was nothing good. He said, like, everything is improving. I am below 200 pounds. I'm officially below 200 pounds. I just want to, I'm very, very excited about that. And so I think I weighed in like at 191. I was like, I'm really, I mean, this is a big deal. Like, I'm below 200 pounds. And so he was asking me, he's like, how are things going? Blah, blah, blah. I was like, it's good. I'm like walking I'm trying to walk every night, every other night. He's like, don't push yourself. I said, I've completely changed my diet. We were talking about that. And so he's like, you're like, everything like is looking good. He was like, your blood pressure is great, blah, 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 whatever, all this kind of stuff. So we talked about that. At first, he was really proud of me. He was like, when he came back, so the nurse, when she took my weight and stuff, she'd like had a smile. I was like, what? And she's like, he's gonna be really proud of you. And so, like, my neurologist didn't really say a lot about it, but I think when I saw my neurologist, I wasn't under 200 pounds at that point. And so she goes, he's gonna be really proud of you. So when he came in, he was like, you've lost it. And I was like, I know. And he was like, you're under 200 pounds. I was like so excited. But anyway, so it's been slow, you know, like it has been slow progress, but it's been a lot of changes, but I'm really, really proud of myself. So anyway, so then we talked about, well, two things. He was like, at the end, he's like, anything else? So we talked about the anxiety stuff. We talked about the ADHD anxiety. We talked about just generalized anxiety disorder, blah, 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 whatever. And he was like, let's just step away from any kind of diagnoses. He was like, this could still be situational. You know, I have never said that I had generalized anxiety disorder. I don't know if I do, whatever, right? And I want to make this real clear. Like, I've said this quite a bit on videos. I am not really big, and I told them this today, I'm not big on diagnoses. Like, the only reason I care about the diagnoses are that they are, like, I'm not the person you're going to meet and be like, I'm Peter and I have post-traumatic stress disorder and this and that. I mean, it's a way for me to understand how I maneuver through the world, if that makes sense, to understand this stuff. So we were talking about it. Oh, Alex did text me. Oh, and he sent a picture. Oh, they got their little cones on, little guys. They're on their way home. Okay, so you guys want to see the picture of them with the little cones? Little cones. So we were talking about that and what he had talked to my therapist about and the ADHD, whatever. And what they came up with is that they're going to start me on, I can't be on a benzo, like Xanax or anything like that. So they're going to start me on a low level, which it's not like that would be for like incidental anxiety. So they're going to start me, he's going to start me on a low level anti-anxiety medication. He's going to start me on Lexapro, on a low level of Lexapro, and just kind of see how that works. He said that sometimes, he said, you know, like, the reality is, he was talking to my therapist about, like, the ADHD test and stuff. He said, Peter, he goes, I don't think there's probably a person in this world that's ever met you that didn't think you were ADHD. And we just started laughing. I said, I mean, it's like ever since I was a kid. It's like, I mean, on every channel, on every video, people are like, oh my God, how much caffeine does this guy have? Is he on speed? Like, he's ADHD off. I mean, everybody said it to me. The fact that anybody would ever question that I had ADHD is just an absolute joke, right? And so, but I manage it, really. I think I've had to learn how to manage it, you know? and I think I shared this on here too, I was kind of like a little scared of like, I don't want my personality to go away, you know, and I'm not saying that that would, but I don't know. And so he said, you know, he said there's a lot of non-habit forming ADHD meds. I've had friends of mine that are on it that are sober. They don't love them. And I said, I don't necessarily, the only reason I would want to go on an ADHD med is if you felt like it was going to help with the anxiety. And he goes, well, I would feel, and he goes, I'm talking to your therapist, it would be better to start you on anti-anxiety medication and see how that works over the course of 4 to 6 weeks. Because you're not going to really notice anything until 4 to 6 weeks. He said, so let's do that. So that's what we're doing. And I feel hopeful about that. And then I talked to him about the pain that I've been having, that I wasn't sure was a kidney stone, blah, 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 whatever, prostatitis. He does not think it's prostatitis. I had, when I went to the urologist, they did a, part of my scans, I didn't realize this, was like a renal scan or something. I don't know. But anyway, it was like where you scan for prostate stuff and check for all, I don't understand it. But anyway, he said everything is fine there. But then they did another kind of scan because they were looking for stones. And in that, maybe it was in the renal scan, I don't really understand what he's saying. He said, you actually have a lot of small bits of stones, or what they would call, he called them something. But he goes, they look like broken up stones, but they're not big like the one you passed. They're really small stones. He goes, I'm not entirely sure that you're not like passing a little bit of a stone, a fragment of stone here, a little stone there, and that's what's causing it. And he was like, is there any blood in your urine? I was like, absolutely not. I haven't had anything. No, he's like, no blood in your stool. I was like, no. And he was like, and he was like, what else do you feel? And I said, it's like every third or fourth day. Like, it's just like, it hurts a little bit. And like, anyway, and so he was like, I think this is just like a long-term effect of like these bits and pieces of like a larger stone breaking up. He's like, I can send you to the urologist. I said, I don't want to go back to the urologist unless I have to. He goes, well, unless you're in pain. He goes, I said, I'm not that much pain. It's like every third or fourth day. And I said on a scale of 1 to 10, it's like a 2 to 3. I said, my lower back hurts sometimes, but not very often. So he's like, well, let's do a urine test and just kind of rule out some things. So they did a urine test. He's like, your urine came back fine. It looks great. He's like, he goes, because I said, do I need to be on an antibiotic for like, he goes, I don't think it's prostatitis. He was like, all right, antibiotic for anything. And he goes, I'm not going to start you on antibiotic right now. He said, I want you to go home. And he called me in another prescription, but I actually have like 2 or 3 left here of Flomax, which is like, they gave it to me for the kidney stones when I originally like had the kidney stones. They gave me when in Indianapolis, his partner, because he was gone, gave me Flomax, which is like a lot of you recommended it. It's supposed to help with kidney stones and stuff like that. He goes, I want you to take the Flomax for the next 7 days and see how it helps. So that's what it's going to do. But anyway, and then that was the appointment. He's real funny. He was really, really nice. And he was like, you look great. He was like, your health looks great. He's like, I'm really proud of you. I'm really impressed. And he's like, he said, you know, because I said something to him about, like, it's been slow. And he goes, you've been losing about, a pound to a pound and a half, like a pound to a pound and a half, sometimes 2 pounds, but mostly a pound to a pound and a half, or you stayed steady. He goes, since you started this. And he said, that is average weight loss. He goes, we don't want aggressive weight loss. He said, a lot of people that do aggressive weight loss, they put it right back on. He goes, you've done everything I've recommended. He goes, you're walking actively. He goes, you're walking for a really good period of time. And because I said something about wanting to run. He goes, I think walking is probably better for you. He goes, especially at, you know, like, unless you're going to start wanting to run marathons and that's a goal of yours. I said, no, not really. He goes, no, I think enjoying your walks, there's not a reason to change it from walking to running. And then he said, you know, you've changed so much of your eating. He goes, and I think that showed in your blood work. Like, everything in my blood work, from my cholesterol to everything, like, went, like, way down. And he was like, I think that has everything to do with you changing your diet. Because he knew that I was eating, like, salads from Trader Joe's, and I'm eating a lot of vegetables and, like, high in my protein, because that was something he really wanted me to do. And he was like, you've done all of that. He goes, and the blood work is showing, and he's like, and physically you look great. He goes, I'm really, really proud of you. So, he did say to me he would like me to lose a little bit more weight. I was like, what do you want, where do you want me? And he goes, well, right now, he goes, you're, you know, between like, you know, you're a little bit above 190. He goes, that's still seen as obese. He goes, I would really like you closer to like 170, 175. I was like, he goes, it's just for long-term health. He goes, the older you get with heart health and things like that, the older you are, the less weight you have. The battery's at the halfway mark. It's been for a while, so I know it's going to die, but I want to get it. He goes, I know that 170 is a lot. He goes, but, you know, if we could get you closer to like 175, 180, he could see the look on my face. I've worked my ass off, you know, and I'm scared to death that I'm going to put it back on. Like, that's the other fear. I told him that. I said, I'm scared to death that I'm going to put it back on. He's like, well, keep walking and keep eating the way that you are. And I go, well, I have been door dashing a little bit. He goes, for how long? And I go, since we got back from Vegas. He goes, did you have fun? I was like, yeah, we ate bad in Vegas. I came back. I said, not every night. I go, not every night. He goes, you need to get back to the salads. And I go, I know. I've been doing that too. I mean, I should be so happy. Like, when I say it to Tanya, she goes, you should be so happy your doctors care so much that they're this hard on you. I was like, I am. But he's like, just keep up the walking and keep on eating the way that you're eating and things like that. So it was a good appointment. The Uber on the way there and the Uber on the way back were, the woman on the way there was so slow, I thought I was going to make my appointment in time. And I got the Uber really early. The Uber on the way back was so fast and we've been out of traffic, I was like a little nervous. And neither one of them, I listened to Sister Wife, the audiobook, because neither one of them wanted to talk to me. So they don't want to talk to me. Anyway, Alex is on his way home, so he'll be home shortly, and I'm going to go inside, and I'm going to start rendering this vlog and get it up. I'm not going to film any other videos today, but I think Alex tomorrow, and they'll probably be asleep and watch tomorrow. They'll wake up, and they'll be like wild children. I think he's going to go hang out with his mom tomorrow. He did say something to me last night about us going to see a movie this weekend. He asked me, he's like, would you want to go see a movie either Saturday night or Sunday night? And so, because we had those dinner plans, and then they canceled because she got sick. I told him I wanted to see either The Conjuring or The Long Walk. I kind of want to read The Long Walk. It's a short Stephen King book. It's like 10 hours and 44 minutes. So I'm thinking about reading that and then seeing the movie. I think one of you said the book was better than the movie. The movie looks good, though, too. So I don't know. And I know Alex wants to see The Conjuring, so we might go see The Conjuring sometime this weekend. I said, if we do, I told the doctor this today, too. He goes, do you have any plans for this weekend? I said, we're going to go to a movie, and I'm going to get popcorn. And Alex said, and a large Coke. I'll get a Mr. Pibb. But anyway, I am, and candy. If you go to the movie theater, you have to do that. But see, then I'm scared to put the weight back on. But anyway, butter popcorn for the movie. So we'll probably go to a movie sometime this weekend. If he goes with his mom tomorrow and hangs out with his mom, I'll probably film some videos during the day, because there's some videos I want to film. And of course my vlog as well. So yeah. And then Sunday I might film some videos too. It just kind of depends. Anyway, I feel like I filmed so many videos this week. I filmed like 3 BookTube videos, like 3 or 4 Peterisms videos. Well, 1 review video. I got so much stuff to review, I gotta get back to that. Drama videos on my channel every single day. Except for today, vlogged every day. I've vlogged every single day since we got back from Vegas. And the whole time we were in Vegas, and every day from getting home from Mexico until Vegas, I've vlogged a lot. I've vlogged a lot. And my movie channel, I've posted like 7 or 8 times this month. Yeah, I've filmed a lot of videos this week. So today, if they come home and they're sleepy, I cleaned all their bedding that we keep in the, did I tell you guys, I think I started that yesterday, but I cleaned all their bedding in their house downstairs, and also like their beds and their blanket up here. I cleaned all that, so it's all fresh and clean for them when they come home for their surgeries. And little guys. So my plan is just to read for the rest of the afternoon and evening and watch TV shows. Very excited about it. Anyway, let me know what your weekend plans are in the comment section below. I love you guys, and I hope you guys are having a magically amazing Friday. Happy, fantastic beginning to your weekend. And if nobody else has told you this today, I love you guys. The red light is flashing at me. I love you guys, and I'll see you tomorrow. Bye. Love you. Happy birthday, Lena.